Why, hello everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. Welcome back to another basement episode here at Little Rapids. So it is the end of March, and wanted to take a look at, I'll show you. It's time to up pot some tomato seedlings. So I figured I would take you along, kind of show you what I do, and hopefully this video will help you in your seed starting and plant growing world, or and if you have any tips or pointers that you see that I am doing or not doing, just comment below, because frankly, you learn by making a lot of mistakes. And so for those of you that have been in gardening for a little bit, you will definitely get that. It is not something that you just, you learn overnight. It is a lifelong learning experience. And I've been doing this now for, I don't know what, like 4 years? This is fourth year? Something like that, maybe. And I've learned a lot, and that's what I want to show you. But I have a lot of learning to do. So every year I go back and watch my videos, and I try to learn from my mistakes. So here we go. Let's pull one out. Okay, so here are some tomato seedlings, and as you can see, let's see if I have a ruler. Sometimes it's hard to see the scale. No, I don't. But using my hand, they are probably about 3 to 4 inches tall. And you can see that they have their original leaves and their first set of true leaves. And they are just starting to grow another set of leaves. You can see this one. Can you see that? So it is time to up pot, because in these little cells, there's a couple things. One, they're small, so there's not much room to grow, and what you don't want is for the roots just to get root bound, and then that will inhibit and slow its growth. And the other thing is, if you remember, there's not really any nutrients in here. The basic mix that we did was peat moss or cocoa coir and perlite and vermiculite. I did dash a couple other things in there just to help it. But there's not a lot in there. So what we want to do is we want to move these into these. These are 3.5 inches containers. These are from Bootstrap Farmer. These are, I like Bootstrap Farmer for a lot of my supplies. They definitely the highest quality that I've found. They are a little pricey, but I mean, as long as you take care of your stuff, they're not gonna go bad on you. So they'll last for a long time. But you can see the difference in the size. So first things first, we need to make our mix. And this is a lot like, I also like to cook. And this is a lot like cooking. You have your basic recipe, and then a lot of times I'll throw in some things that aren't in the basic recipe. So take that what you will, but this is the way I do things, and it changes from time to time. So the basic potting soil, which is what we're making. We're making potting soil, is 3 parts peat moss or cocoa coir, 3 parts compost, and 2 parts perlite vermiculite. So again, they're parts. They're not. It's not like a cup here or a half a cup there, because you can scale it to however much you're making. So I typically just find a container. A couple years ago, I got a sleeve of these. They're like what you get your wonton soup in if you get a large. I got a sleeve of these, and I've been using these for, again, quite a few years. So this is what I'm going to do. I don't know how big this is, but 32 ounces. But you can use whatever you want. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to get some of the ingredients. The one thing that I will say that I have learned is you want to sift your mix, because I'll show you an example here. Over here. So in this hand I have compost, and in this hand I have compost. The sifting takes out all the big pieces. So these big chunks, there's can be some wood bark in there, things that haven't naturally broken down as much as you wanted them to. They will take up room and could inhibit, not as much with the seed as the seed starting. Seed starting, you definitely want to sift, but I have the sifter. Might as well do it for the potting soil as well. So that's a pro tip, is to sift. I've got a couple different sifters over the years, but this one is made by Garland. The 2-in-1 sieve, and yeah, it has these. There's 2 different sizes, so 6mm and 12mm. I think it's 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, pretty much, and that's what I use to sift. That just allows me to get the best quality you can get. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my mix, and then I'll come back and we'll add a couple things to it. Hey, I just wanted to show you, I am currently sifting my peat moss, and this is the stuff that is staying on top. As you can see, they're just big chunks of stuff, and you don't want that in your mix. You want this stuff in your mix. Okay, I'll be back. All right, so we're back. So we have the basic mix of, again, there's 3 parts compost, 3 parts peat moss, and then I did 1 part vermiculite and 1 part perlite, because and this is an example. This is the first time I'm incorporating vermiculite into my potting soil mix, but there's been, it seems like both are beneficial, so 1/2 and 1/2. There's with gardening, there's it's not an exact science. Things want to grow. So you have a lot of leeway in how you do things, especially with this. I mean, you get into trouble with watering, sunlight, but as far as this goes, as long as you're trying, you're going to be okay. But I want to add a couple more things to here. So what we haven't really added, now there's a lot of nutrients in the compost. That's one of the biggest benefits of the compost. But I want to add some other things, and I can locate them in my bins. One of them is worm castings. So worm castings, well, it's worm poop, essentially. And you can buy bags of this, and it's just super beneficial. It's not a high level of fertilizer, if that makes sense. It's kind of low key, which is what you want for your little plants. You don't want to over fertilize them, because then they will struggle and possibly die. But you want to kind of give them a little something. So that's kind of what we're doing. The other thing that we want to add is this is garden tone fertilizer. So this has a bunch of, it's a little smoky, I apologize. You get the full experience, but that will add some nutrients as well and help the plants grow. You don't want to add too much. It is slow release, so some of the plants won't, it will take a little bit of time, but once they move into here, I can pot them up to a bigger size. And I do have a bigger size container. And I have used these before, but I found that as long as you pay attention, you can go straight from this into the ground. And that's what I did last year. It worked out well. So that's the game plan again for this year. So that's it. That's our mix. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to blend it all together, and we're going to add some water. We don't want to get it sopping wet, but we want to get it moist. No, a lot of people don't like that word, but I guess damp is a better word. But so yeah, so I'm going to pause you again, and we're going to mix it up, and I'll be back. Okay, about a minute later, I just mixed this all up, so it's all incorporated here. And I was thinking about it when I was mixing this. I wanted to say, yes, you can go to Home Depot and buy potting soil in a bag. And that's fine. But I will say, if you are, and if you're only growing like a dozen plants, then yeah, that makes sense. But if you're growing a lot more like I am, the most cost, well, it's not only one, it's cost effective to make your own. Buying these ingredients, there's nothing really expensive here, and you can save a lot of money by mixing your own. And two, it's going to be better quality. And there's been videos that show like comparison videos side by side, and comment below if you would like to see one of those. I'd be more than happy to do so. But comparing like a bag of Miracle Grow potting mix to something we can make on our own. I've learned a lot from YouTube, and I'm going to do a shout out to two YouTubers. Gardner Scott. Gardner Scott is, I call him, he's like the Bob Ross of gardening. Gardner Scott is awesome. Check him out. And also Luke from M.I. Gardener. You may know him. M.I. Gardener is you can buy seeds from, and that's where I buy most of my seeds from, is M.I. Gardener. But Luke's, he's awesome. He has a lot of energy, a lot of knowledge, and I've learned a lot from both of them. So definitely check both of them out. They are more advanced than I am, and that's where I got most of all this information from. So, all right, we're gonna add some water. Right now, it's just so dry and it's almost hydrophobic that if you put if you put a little bit of water in here, you can't tell, but it's a lot of times it'll just kind of bubble on top and not mix. So we want to pour some. We'll start with that. Get the hands dirty. I guess we can do this on camera, right? I don't want to make a too long of a video for you, but this is all it is. Your hands are your best tools. I'm a big fan of using the right tool for the job. Sorry for the shaky cam, but we're on a limited budget here, production budget. Okay, a little bit more. Now we're starting to get to how we want it. And I said it before, you want to get to the consistency and texture of like a sponge, a wet sponge, but not a sopping sponge. An old sponge, that kind of weird feeling. Okay, let's see here. So it's still a little, it's close. We could get away with this, but just a little bit more water. We're almost there. And this will be good. Now I can't pause the camera because my hands are so dirty. So don't have any videographer assistance down here in the basement of Little Rapids. Okay, let's check this out. How does that look? Does that look good? I think so. This is a great, healthy potting mix. If you squeeze it, can you see? I guess you can't see it from that angle, but if you squeeze it real hard, you can get a drop or two out. That is exactly what we want. Okay. So our soil's ready. We are ready to pot. So next thing, I am going to get together a new tray. We need some labels because, well, we have to keep track of what we're growing. That can be a difficult thing to do if you're not organized in that manner. You gotta find a way that works for you to always know what variety of plant we have. And again, I make mistakes all the time, and I made more mistakes this year, which I will, let me see if I can show you what mistakes I made. Right there. There we go. Here's an example. 2 examples. How about 2 examples of mistakes? Okay, so this is my numbering system, and I numbered these number 11, and I numbered these number 8. However, an 8 is an 8 this way, and also this way. So I don't know if I planted different peppers, if I planted like jalapenos up here and habaneros down here, it's going to be tricky. Now, I know how I draw my 8s, so I know this way is up. But like here's an 11, and this is a little more difficult. I don't really know. This can be solved easily by putting like a little line underneath, and I did that for my 6s because I knew. However, clearly when I got to 11, I forgot. So that's another tip, or learn from my mistakes, is when you, however you number it, whether it's by numbers, letters, shapes, doesn't matter, just don't do what I did. Learn from my mistakes. All right. So let's see. I'm going to pause you for a second here. Be right back. All right. So we have a few things here. First is our seed starting map. This is just my technique. It's worked, except for the whole numbering we just went over. But you can use whatever method you want. I just find that individual labeling is not an efficient or effective way of doing things. So that's why I do these. And you can see, so we have number 2. You probably can't see it through the leaves, but we are in block cell number 2. So Dr. Weichi, it's an awesome yellow, like beefsteak tomato, one of my favorites. So I have that in the first 4, and then an Ace 55 tomato in the 2 cells below. So again, this is a very important step as we're up potting, that we keep track of what they are. So we don't want to just dump these out and start up potting, because then we won't know what's what, and that's no good. So we have labels, and this is where I start labeling. These are just, I got these off of Amazon, and I also use a garden marker. So let me go snag that for you. Okay, here. This is a garden marker. It's pretty much a Sharpie. However, a garden marker is water and fade resistant. A Sharpie is not going to really wash away. However, I have noticed in the past that they do fade. And the last thing you want is you're getting ready to put your up pot, and a month later, 2 months later, ready to put it in the ground, and the label just faded away. No good. So these are relatively cheap. Are they a necessity? I don't know, but I would recommend them. Usually when you buy plant labels, they throw one in for you. Yeah, garden marker hasn't let me down. All right, so then we have our containers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Ace 55. So that's the bottom 2. And how we do this is we just kind of little pinch, little squeeze, and they pop right out. Ta-da! I need to water all my plants, so I'll do that later. But for now, as you can see, there's definitely a lot of roots. It's a little dry down here, so you can tell it needs some water. You typically don't want to transplant while they're too dry. So I may end up, after I do these 6, give my others a little bit of a bath and have them soak up some water. It just helps hold. It does a couple things, but yeah, the roots like it when they're a little damp, and it helps hold the soil block together. But for these 6, we're just going to roll with what we got. All right, now a couple of rules with tomatoes. One is the stem that we see here. Anywhere where the stem comes in contact with soil and moisture, it's going to produce roots. So not all plants are like this, but tomatoes definitely are. So the rule of thumb is you always want to, anytime you transplant or into these or in the garden, you always want to bury your tomato plants as much as you can. So in this case, what we're going to do is scissors. Where are my little scissors? Okay, well, these will work. So these here, you can just keep them on and bury it, but I think it's better if you cut them off. So we're just going to do a little pruning, and then we're going to try to bury this up to right about here. So I'm going to put a little soil in here, pack it down, but then we're going to boop, drop this in. Leaves out of the way, and then put our new stuff all around, packing it down on the sides here. We don't want to damage anything. Okay, and there we go. Transplant complete. So now, as you can see how the soil line comes right up essentially to there. So it's going to grow roots all the way down, which is awesome. And that's it. And what else? So I'm going to put that, a little tray of water. I'm going to put that in there, let it soak up as much water as it wants to, and then from there it's going to go underneath the lights. So we'll do one more on camera. Oh, what don't we do? Anyone know? Anyone? Yes, you are correct. We did not put our label in. That's where you can get into trouble. So all right, this is again an ACE 55, so we have our ACE 55 tag. I'm just going to put that right in there, like so. Now, okay, now we're okay. Now it's labeled, it's ready to go, and then, like I said, it will stay in there until it's ready to plant in the ground. So not really that difficult, although it does take time. I will say that. I mean, when you're dealing with, I mean, just looking to my left here, when you have trays of 72, it doesn't seem like a lot when you first plant, but then as you start up potting, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it does take a little bit of time. I would say take your time, enjoy this part. It is, for me, it's relaxing. I think some people relax by they go for runs, you know, and that way they clear their head and think about things they need to think about. For me, it's gardening. It's all of these steps. When I get into a rhythm of up potting, there's a lot of stages of gardening where I get like this, but it gives me a chance to decompress, just think about the things I need to think about that I'm just too busy to think about anytime else, or if a thought creeps in my mind when I'm trying to wrangle the kids or do something at work, and you try to put it out of your mind. Now is the time to kind of go through those things, and it helps me relax and de-stress. It's one of the benefits of gardening, and they say, and a lot of like rehab places will have gardens, because there is something therapeutic with getting your hands in the dirt and growing something, and I truly do believe that. So enjoy it. This is not it's a chore, but it should be one that is enjoyable. If you don't enjoy it, then maybe I don't know, don't do this. Or you can buy your seedlings already to go into the garden if you find you don't enjoy this. But I have found very early on that going from seed, planting the seeds, to watching my kids eat tomatoes right off the vine has been extremely rewarding. And we're all looking for purpose, I guess. And this makes me feel good. It makes me feel good about what I do. It's a hobby. I have a lot of hobbies, and not all my hobbies are beneficial to my family per se. But this one is, and also my friends, co-workers. It's great when you can bring in some of your harvests and share with others. I very much enjoy that part. So this is where it all begins. All right, just like that, we're done another. But 30 minutes in. Oh, label. Don't forget the label. We were 30 minutes in, so that's a good time to end the video. But I hope this has helped you. If it has, please let me know. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. I do appreciate it. And any feedback you have, anything you want to see or learn more about, I'd be more than happy to show you. This is kind of the first time I'm trying to widen the videos to show you more of from the beginning to end. So with that said, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.